Hi, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you so much for joining. Today we have Falguni, whose story is nothing short of incredible. Despite applying in the toughest round from an overrepresented demographic and with a GMAT score many would consider too low, she still made it into ESSEC, HEC Paris, INSEAD, NUS, and NTU with scholarships. So, Falguni, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today. And we can't hear how you pulled this off. Let's start with, I think, a quick intro. Let the audience know a little bit about yourself.
Okay, perfect. Firstly, thank you for having me here. Very, very honored. And my intro. I'm so used to giving introductions now. Anyway, so with regard to my professional background, so I studied political science at LSR, Delhi University. Then I proceeded on to do anything but political science. So I started my own consulting organization, which was modeled on a 180 degrees consulting framework. So we, as a group of students, used to help MSMEs in India with meeting their diversity targets. Post that, I started working as a business development head at Ashi Creation, which is an export house. So anything but political science, and I had like a work ex of less than 2 years.
Oh, interesting. I've heard this about Delhi University students. A lot of them end up taking a course, but they never manage to
That
go
is
ahead
true.
with it.
I don't know. I think it's a Delhi University thing.
Yeah, could be. But you said you had, so this was less than 2 years. And when did you apply to all of these schools?
So I applied in round four for MIM programs, which was around, I would say, April or May. And for the other MBA programs, which was NTU and SMU, I think I applied in round two.
Round two. Okay.
Yeah.
Question is, why round four? Why wait so long? Is it because you got to know about it a little later? What was the story behind that?
Yeah, it's funny because the study abroad dream in itself is very new to me. Still is, by the way. So it was like later this last year, I started to think, oh, you know what? I should do a master's. Should be fun.
Mm,
And that's when I decided that I should prepare. And that's when I was acquainted to this humongous world of GMAT. And
yeah.
I took two attempts. So I had to like wait out a couple of months so as to make sure that I give my best attempt forward, which was 635.
Yeah, I saw the score. I mean, it is for to get into the schools you got into with a score like that is impressive. I think we should like go a little back because just to understand like the whole perspective of your application and how
Yeah.
schools manage to get you accepted. So let's start again with the work experience that you had.
Okay.
What do you think set your work experience apart, or anything that you did extra apart from your work experience that you felt like set your application apart from others?
Okay, so I would say that there's nothing extraordinary about my professional work ex. I think everybody does work in also big four companies that are well renowned. So that was not the case for me. I think
Yeah.
one thing that did help me stood out from the rest of the applications perhaps was the initiative taking bit in it. So the fact that I started my own organization, however small it might be, did represent that I have a zeal to take initiative, or I would go for something that I really, really want. So I
Mhm.
think that was impressive because during my interviews as well, we did talk a lot about my organization. So I would say that was one. Second, I made sure that I compensated for my lack of business acumen in academics by undertaking some professional courses on Forage, Coursera, from all the big companies, making sure that I like have the skill set and also represent the to the adcom that you know what, I have been interested in these courses for a long time now, and that's why I went out of my way to study these online.
Oh,
So
that's
yeah.
nice. And these are things that you just managed to learn about, online, that, these things. So like, how would you, a lot of people actually do ask these questions later on, like, would taking these mini courses help with my application? So how did you figure that out?
Right. So I think it was quite easy. I did know for a fact that I have to compensate for the academic thing because
Mhm.
somewhat business knowledge would at least put me at par with other candidates who come from business backgrounds. Having said that, I knew that. So I went through the course curriculum for each program. What are the electives? What are the main courses? And which ones can maximize my value? And what is it that I can put in my CV that will help me reach that point? So I did talk about these courses in my essays as well. That these are the courses that I'm interested in, and I made sure to replicate the same in my courses that I undertook online. So
Mhm.
if I did mention that I was interested in marketing, so I'd just go and probably take a marketing course from L'Oreal. And it was also specific to the region. So if I'm applying to Paris, and L'Oreal being like one of the biggest recruiters here as well, I did want to showcase that the company interest also aligned. So
Oh,
there are
I see.
number of facets to it. I did think a lot about it before doing it, but I think it's good to invest your time into something that is going to concretize your application.
That's true.
Yeah.
And this was, I guess, all of this was happening before you decided that you're gonna take the GMAT, right?
Yeah, because courses do take a lot of time.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So when was the decision of finally approaching the GMAT side of things? When did you start preparing for it?
So for 1 month entirely, I was just thinking whether I should go for GMAT or GRE. I think that decision was quite difficult for me as well because while I do believe I'm good at math, I also do think that I did have a lot of time without math. So which would mean that I had no practice, lack of confidence, and so many other things. But then I think I spoke to like a lot of professionals in this space, and they mentioned that your maximum chance at scholarship is through GMAT. More than that, I think there are a lot of benefits other than getting your application selected might also be affected. I'm not sure of how true that is, but overall the opinion was that GMAT is going to open some windows for you which GRE might not. So
Mhm.
that's why I decided to go for GMAT. This was 1 month of decision making. Post that, I
Wow.
started preparing at like with the resources that are available at GMAT Club specifically. I think this became my magnum opus. I was using it every day, and I think it's also a great network to like meet people who are in the same situation as you. So all the questions sharing and everything. So I did take a lot of time with this platform, as well as a couple of others resources which are available online. But most importantly, like the official resources on mba.com. I think I took a lot of help of those as well. Coupled with that, I gave 2 attempts to get my maximum score, and then I just went on to apply. This lasted for about 3 months, including the decision making. So everything happened in like 2 months, the studying part of it. Yeah.
This was for your first attempt, correct?
No,
Because it
no.
took
So
a month.
first attempt was taken in a haphazard manner because I was also managing my full time role as a business development head. Then I had concretely 1 month to make sure that I improved my score. So I went from 535 to 635.
That's not bad.
Yeah. Now when you look at that, yeah,
How did you manage that? What
I
changed in
think
that 1 month?
I made sure that I decided to not participate in my professional role anymore. I gave my entire time to GMAT so that because this was important, I knew that this is one thing that is missing in my application. So I made sure that I gave like properly 5 to 6 hours in a day at least to make sure that the logical reasoning part of GMAT. The objective was at least I understand what's going on. I shouldn't go
Mm.
there and just be like, I need to solve these questions. I really want to understand why I'm doing what I'm doing, and then I proceeded on to like give the attempt.
A lot of people say that it's like a lot of people think with a full-time job they can manage studying for the GMAT. But what are your thoughts on that? Because you said you sort of left your work just to focus on this. Do you think though it's possible for someone working full-time to be able to manage both things?
That's a fair question. At least I'd accept my privilege that I was able to leave my job to complete
Yeah.
the GMAT. But of course, for a lot of people, it's not possible. I do believe that it is at some level you can manage it, but you'd need to give like more months to it, like more months to the preparation altogether. I did not have a lot of time. I was already in the process, and that's why I applied in round four. So my suggestion is that if you start like 6 months back, 8 months back, of course, depending on what your routine says, what your commitments are, you'll be able to manage it. But if you are like on a time crunch, I believe it's very hard to manage GMAT with a full-time role. Yeah. And
Makes
also
sense.
specifically if you don't come from like a mathematical background, not just mathematical, just that you're not acquainted with math as much.
Anything that shocked you while preparing for the test? Like, were there any type of questions or sections that you just were struggling with, and it took really a long time to get a grasp of?
Oh, it's shockingly disturbing because I was very disturbed with data insights as an entire section. It was just a lot of things on the screen to like comprehend in like 1 minute or 2 minutes of time. And yeah, I would just sit in front of the screen and see what is it that I'm seeing, and like start self introspecting, why am I here? But then I think it needed a lot of practice. So for my second attempt, I made sure that the areas that I lack at, I focus much more heavily on those. And that paid off because I think I got like a 98, 99 percentile in DI. So
Not
that was
bad.
good. Yeah.
So yeah, for a section that you struggled with a lot, you managed to
Yeah,
get a good.
actually. So it shocked me as well. But I think that is the beauty of GMAT. The more time you give, the more practice you give to it, and the more beautifully you understand the exam, it just the magic happens on its own.
Correct. And so, in terms of resources, once again, like GMAT Club, and I'm sure YouTube videos, anything else that you feel like helped you with your prep that the audience might feel like knowing?
Yeah, I did connect with a lot of people who were preparing GMAT for GMAT. So I think that always helps having a community base so that you know that you're not the only one preparing for this. And
Correct.
it's always good to like chat outside of GMAT as well, as long as you guys have the same mission, that is to deliver the exam. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think that helped me a lot because I connected with some wonderful people, some awfully smart than me, some who had background in this space, some who had given GMAT already. So there are a lot of insights that are shared frequently. So I'd definitely recommend connecting with people who are in this space.
I agree. When I was preparing, I literally formed a whole study buddy group through GMAT
Wow.
Club, and like that, like I think those are some of my closest friends till date. So I mean, if
For
anyone's looking, yeah, to like find study buddies, we actually do have a GMAT club group just for GMAT prep, and I'm sure we'll add it down somewhere. So guys, go and find your lifelong friends through GMAT Club.
wow.
But yeah, I mean, I've heard crazy stories too, like of how people like it's an incredible community, that's for sure.
For sure.
But okay, so you took the test again and you scored a 630. So when was this? When you scored 635?
I think it was February. Yes, February for sure.
Oh, okay. Hence why you had very less time, I'm sure, and then you applied
Yeah.
for round four. But I mean, 635 isn't actually as bad as people think. I mean, it's a 690 in terms of GMAT Classic, so that's not a bad score per se. But I understand with the demographic you come from, a lot of people tend to want to get 700 plus, which is like more than 645, 655.
No, even if
So
I'm here, like in at HEC Paris, I meet people who have. I'm so sorry.
no problem.
Yeah, I meet people who have like incredible scores, and I probably am the only one who has like the lowest score. I'd say it outright. I'm not ashamed of it. But yeah, I think when you aim for top schools, they have a certain level of average score that they want to maintain. And it's always recommended to like score like 20 points or 30 points higher than the average score to increase your chances. So I took like a big risk when I was applying with the score and also in round four.
No, that's true. And I mean, at the same time, like if you got your score on February, it means you had like another 1.5 months to prepare your entire application, which is
Yeah.
a very short time for like a lot of people. Like, were you doing things simultaneously, or after you got done with the GMAT, you finally sat down and like thought it through, like where you're gonna apply, how you're gonna apply, etc.
So I made sure that nothing happens while I'm preparing for GMAT. It's only GMAT because,
Mhm.
again, as I mentioned, that I did not want to compromise on the score. But for the applications, yeah, I did apply to a lot of schools, and it was really tough because you have to like maneuver your application according to the region, according to the program, and the school itself. So my schools were decided before this, before giving GMAT. The entire agenda was to then write the essays and collect LORs. So that is what I did in like 1 month. I don't remember my sleep schedule because there was none. I just made sure that I cover all these applications in 1 month. Yeah.
I'm sure. And how many schools you decided to apply to? I mean, I
So
mentioned some, but there are more, right?
yeah, so I applied to like around 5 schools, but within those schools as well, in NTU and SMU, I applied for the MBA program as well. So all these schools, MIM, and then the MBA program for NTU and SMU.
Oh, okay, okay. So you applied for MIM, of course, because of your lower work experience. But why MBA? Like, where did that come from?
It's funny because I never thought I'd get into MBA. Because why would I? I mean, the work ex requirement is a lot. However, when I went for the interview for MIMs in like these colleges, they said that why don't you apply for MBA? I was like, oh yeah, why don't I apply for MBA? And if you are saying it, let's. So that's when I decided to. So of course there was like a little no holistic difference between your MIM application and MBA application. But I made sure that I cleared all my doubts from the AdCom, understand what the people are saying at the university, and
Mhm.
make changes to the application likewise. And then I submitted the MBA application.
Is there anything you feel like worked for your MBA applications? Like apart, I mean, what was it? Your work experience? Like, what exactly felt like set you apart? Because a lot of people wouldn't get into an MBA program with this less of a work experience.
That is definitely true. I'm not sure what really worked, but if I were to make a third party judgment, I'd say that I managed to show my application as somebody who's a multidisciplinarian or slash a generalist. So I do like a lot of things, and I have like a skill set which has been imbibed from different industries that I've worked in. And I believe that worked for me really well because MBA as a degree accepts like people from all backgrounds. So does MIM. But MBA is very open about it. It is a career elevation degree. So I made sure that they know that my long term goals align with this degree and the generalist overview of my profile, the multidisciplinary nature of my profile. And I'm just mingled both of them in the application.
Interesting. And you applied for the MBA programs in round four as well, or this was earlier on?
I think it's round two. I think Singapore only has round 3 rounds. So I
Okay,
applied in round two. Yeah.
gotcha. Okay, and that's why I think it was good as well. If you would have applied way later, it would have been a much
Yeah, it would have
different.
been definitely.
Yeah.
So
But
I
let's.
once I got in like Singapore, I also thought why shouldn't I ask like universities in Europe if they're gonna accept my application? But I think rules
Mhm.
here are like way stricter. So like a minimum of 3 or 4 years of work is absolutely required,
Interesting.
which will also put you at a disadvantage, I believe, unless again you curate your profile in a manner that compensates for the lack of work ex. But yeah, they were like not flexible about it at all.
Interesting. I
Yeah.
also see some questions here, which I'll definitely take up after asking a few of mine. Sorry, guys. But keep them coming because I'll definitely ask them. And while you're here, please like this video. It will help Falguni's story reach more aspirants for the MIM program. Um, okay. Now comes, I think, the question of like, why these specific schools? Because like NTU is different, these European schools different. Like, was there some reasoning of why you chose these particular schools to apply to?
Right. So I think the biggest chunk of my application time was taken by deciding what schools I should apply to. It was mainly dependent on A, the region, and B, the programs. So, with regard to regions, I chose Singapore because it is closer to India, of course, and it has a great educational panel. So, I believe I could benefit out of it. And France was because I had I speak C1 level French, and I had the French advantage. And I visited France like a lot of times for work and for even my summer school. So I decided to go for France because it is like it felt like a second home to me that time. And when it came to the MIM degree, of course, France has like the top three schools, as per my research, in MIM, and for MBA, Singapore was more accessible. So this is how the choice was made.
And the fact that you know I didn't know you knew C1 level French, but I'm sure that was a huge boost to your applications too,
For
right?
sure. I think in France specifically, if you're applying, I don't think you need to have like an advanced level of French. Of course, that puts you like again at a benefit. But even if you show that you are learning French or you're taking the initiative to learn French, I think they're very accepting about that. So,
It's
and
true.
also, it's not just about the application. Once you come here, you realize that knowing French opens up a lot of opportunities for you, which you would never think about. So, if I were to recommend one thing for universities in France, I'd definitely say start learning French right away.
For sure. I'm just going back to the school. So, ESSEC, HEC, INSEAD. So, out of these three schools, I guess you finally chose, right? Because it's written right under your name that you went with HEC Paris. Why HEC?
Okay, so I think I did put a lot of emphasis on the program type. So, what all is included in the program? What are the amount of electives that the university provides? So, HEC had like a large number of electives. So that meant that electives, if anybody wants to know, these are side subjects, which helps you like with specialized skills or specialized topics. And I saw like a lot of ones that interested me. For example, some on entrepreneurship inside Silicon Valley, strategies for international expansion, everything related to entrepreneurship. So that really excited me. That was one reason. Second, of course, HEC felt like it had a better brand value as opposed to other schools when it comes to the MIM program. So that was a direct choice right there. And third, I am particularly interested in entrepreneurship, and I realized that HEC has a great incubator and accelerator program that anyone could benefit from. Last year, they I think funded 10 Indian startups. So when I got to know about all of this, I got really excited, and I finally made the choice to go with the university.
And going back to the whole MIM MBA, why were you like, okay, no more MBA? I should focus on this instead.
Right. So I think there was one major reason. I want to get into entrepreneurship. So I think your choice of university should always be dependent on your short-term/long-term goals. Mine was that I want to get into entrepreneurship. So the incubator program that I talked about, I really want to benefit from it. So that was one an obvious choice. But between MBA and MIM, I realized that if I were to come back to India, MBA would have been more prestigious as a degree because it has a better brand value, specifically in India. But MIM offers me an opportunity to choose my specialization, like with taking a gap year. So I could practice in different industries. I could participate in like a different competitions and different challenges and realize what suits me the best. Is it consulting? Is it banking? And what helps me with my long term vision? That gap year facility made my decision more concrete about HEC, that I can take time and take my specialization and I don't have to like worry about it in the first year itself.
Interesting. Okay, and that was, I think, the main factor of choosing between the two different programs.
For
Or
sure, for sure.
was
Sorry.
there anything else that sort of made you come to that decision apart from
I
this?
think so this was the major decider for my choice. But if I were to choose another one, I'd say that I had already seen the cohort at both the universities. I saw that people who came at the NTU MBA degree were they were like they had like a ton of work ex with them. They were already mid managers, mid professionals. So I did not have that experience, and I thought that from like a future perspective, I would always be at a disadvantage if I were to participate with the same cohort of people, because naturally they have like they're 27, they're 28, they have more experience. And if I were to participate in any industry, uh, I thought that I'd be at a disadvantage compared to the others. But this is my personal opinion. I don't think how well it would have acted out. I think it's always dependent on your networking power and anything that you do. But yeah, so that's why that was another reason why I just went for HEC.
That makes sense. Okay, so now I think coming to the whole application process in itself. Again, you had like 1 month to prepare everything from your essays to your LOR to your resume. What were certain things that you wish you could have done differently, or you felt like you could just give advice on to the students who are watching here? Anything that you'd like to tell about that process specifically? This is the time.
Oh, for sure. So my first advice would definitely be have all your information in like one document. Possibly anything that you could have for all the schools, just one like large document, but that should work with like adequate headers, because I would like it would take me hours to find like where the rest of my documents were. Now this could just be my thing, but again, it would be much simpler if you like have everything consolidated. So there's that. Second, I think before writing your essays, before uploading your resume or like making changes to it, make sure to talk to the admissions team at whatever university that you're applying to. Get all sorts of clarification that you want, because that is going to help you a lot. So for example, specifically for LOR, I needed to know whether they need two academic LORs, whether I should add two professional and that would add on to my profile, or I should just add a combination of both. And there was a clear answer: you should add both. And that helped me. Otherwise, I wouldn't have gone for it. So making sure that you take the entire advantage of your email service provider and like sending an email to the admissions team saying that, tell me everything about the application. You can also get like a so this is something that I got to know while applying. You can also ask for a pre evaluation of your resume. Some universities offer that, some don't, but it's always good to ask. So they can tell you what is it that you can add to your profile, which will make it much more suitable for the university. So there's that. And lastly, I think creating an analysis sheet where you have every information that you can possibly put in your essays should be there, and extracting from that information and making it subjective to the university is the art. So
Mm.
I think one should really invest their time into creating that sheet where they have possibly all the information mentioned, and use that for like different universities with who want different things. And wherever you want to highlight entrepreneurship, do that using la experiences. Wherever you want to highlight something else, do that. So it makes things much easier. I didn't have time to do all of this, but this is what I recommend to anyone who comes to.
uh, when you said that you were reaching out to adcoms, like were there any events as such that you would participate in, like, because there are a lot of tips and tricks that a lot of people would mention, like they would even go and connect with alums on LinkedIn. That helped a lot too. Like, were those things that you tried out as well while you were preparing your application?
Absolutely. I think it was very important for me to know what is it I'm getting into. So I did connect with a lot of people who were already part of the university or who had already graduated on this platform called Unibuddy, because I think universities themselves like actively promote that platform for connecting with the people. And also, secondly, LinkedIn. LinkedIn is also a great way to connect with people. So yes, I made sure to connect with at least one person from each university to like have somebody handy to text them when you're like confused about any application. So
Okay.
just text them, have a casual conversation with them. It doesn't have to be as formal as the email that you're sending to the admissions team. You can know the nitty-gritties of the application as well, and that's where you play the unfair advantage of having spoken to somebody.
That's true. A lot of people have joined our spotlight events as well. We used to have the MBA one, but now we finally have the master's one, finally, this year. So for students who are applying, like, I would definitely
Yep.
recommend LinkedIn, joining these events. Schools have their own events as well that you should definitely join. Really helps put yourself out there. And sometimes adcoms remember you when you like, ask the right
For
questions.
sure.
Don't you think? Have you tried that out, Falguni? What are your thoughts?
Absolutely. So, just yesterday, I had like a cocktail party at HEC, and it was a scholarship event. So, I met with the executive director, and he happened to remember me. So and there's this one thing he mentioned like in the conference. It was like, we take care of your application from the minute you send your first email to us till the very end, till we close your application. So there is a lot of advantage in sending emails to universities to get more information. It shows that you're interested. It shows that you
That's
want to be part of the university so desperately that you want to make everything right from the very beginning. And it's
Now we
good.
shouldn't be too desperate as well, okay?
Not too desperate, of course. I mean, the right proportion of desperate.
Yes, the right report, because there are people who would push too much and like, come on,
No, no.
everyone's human. Adcoms are human too.
No, just the right questions at the right time, and you just
Correct.
have to be known. Just be visible.
Correct. Just be visible.
Yeah.
And another thing, in terms of social media, I think that's the aspect people started talking about now. Was there anything that you sort of worked on in terms of like your online presence that could have helped you with your application, or that was you didn't work on that?
I'm glad you bring this point because I think that this is not something I did, but it would really really help people if they did. Universities have separately started asking for your LinkedIn IDs, so optimizing your LinkedIn and also regularly posting on it, being active on it would really help you. That is something that I was already doing before even having the thought of applying to universities. So I would say that that is also advantageous. But if you are comfortable in any other digital platform, it should work for you. If you want to write a blog, do that. If you want to start your own newsletter, do that. As long as you have like a digital presence which shows that you take initiative, it works in your favor.
That's true.
Yeah.
All right. So we talked a little bit about your entire application, the essays, resumes. Let's. Do you want to talk about? Should we talk about a little bit for each one, just to sort of touch upon? I think let's start with your essays, because that's like the larger chunk of it.
Right.
Anything that you struggled with or you'd give advice on when it, because you did apply to multiple schools, so I'm sure that you had to work on now different essays for each school.
For sure.
What any insights for your essays that you'd like to share?
Okay. All right. So when I started writing my essays, I did the first thing anyone would do. I went on Google and like search for things that you should do for an application essay. So I was acquainted to a lot of frameworks. There's like the STAR framework and XYZ framework. And honestly, that did not make me happy because I believe essays are supposed to be very personalized. They are supposed to be like this 400-word condensed uh, autobiography of you, and that's supposed to tell you a lot and also keep a little mystery alive for the admissions team. So I made sure not to follow any framework per se, but in my mind my idea was that I need to brief the admissions team about everything that I went through and all the experiences that I had in my life, personal or professional, that made me who I am today. So that helped me a lot. Now this is for a general SOP. When you're writing a general SOP, make sure that you talk about your family background, where you come from, and what role has it played to make you as a person today. Post that how your academics, how the friends you meet, how the societies and clubs you have been part of have been instrumental in shaping you. So anything that you have done till the date before you're applying, I think you can put everything into it and make sure that there's a right balance between your personal life and your professional life. Because as you said, admissions team is also human. They don't want to read everything professional, I believe. They want to see how you are outside your professional world and what is the values that you provide outside of it. So a perfect balance of this was something I maintained in my essays. I did highlight my family background. I did highlight the city I'm part of and how it was instrumental. I made sure to mention my short term and long term goals in some or the other way in all the essays. So why that is important is because I'm trying to show them like an entire timeline. This is what I was. This is what I want to be. and this is how you as a university help me do that. So so it has to be like a perfect balance of what you will provide to the university, what the university will provide to you, and how is it going to shape your life, and how you will help the university in the future. So will you support them as an alumni? Will you be a student ambassador for the university? Anything that you can add that you will do in future for the university that you're applying to helps.
That's great. And I don't know much about like I kind of forgot, but are the essay questions very different for each school that you applied to, or it was easy to sort of reuse your story in some way?
For some of the essays, yes, because some of the essays were specifically about your long term and short term goals. Some of them were general SOPs, but there were some questions which were like absolutely unique. Like HEC asked me, if you were to have a dinner party tomorrow, who would you invite and why would you do that? So they're just trying to put you in a situation and seeing how you think, and they'll do the same in the interview, by the way. But the benefit about it being an essay is that you have time to think. So giving like honest and right answers is the way to go about it. They don't want like super fancy answers where you're inviting like stalwarts and whatnot. I think it could be as basic as saying you want to invite a family member, but the why is important. Why is
Gotcha.
it that you want to invite them? Yeah. So
I
it's
think,
just one question. Yeah,
yeah, that one question is the most important one. As simple as it is, it's the actually the toughest one to crack,
for sure.
because a lot of people don't know their why, and then they apply with like no goal in mind, and that's where things go like this.
Yeah, for
um,
sure.
and what about, I think for your I think resume is a given. I don't think, did you struggle with your resume in any bit while you were making it?
I did have to reframe it because a university resume looks a lot different from a professional resume, and that's why I had to like make a lot of changes to the framework. But other than that, as I mentioned, I added like a lot of courses that I did during the time, and I made sure to highlight, uh, quantify my resume. So it was not that. So to make sure that I showcase impact of the projects that I've done till date was more important to me in the resume, and the skill set or the softwares that I used during my entire journey. I did mention that explicitly in every point, so that the resume is like a accumulation of the skill set, tools, languages, experiences, everything. It's like a bundle of
Correct.
joy.
Correct. And regarding your LOR, I think you would have required both academic and professional.
Yeah.
So how did you go about that one?
So, okay, so for an academic LOR, I believe you can reach out to. So one question that they ask regarding the LORs is, why did you choose the recommender that you did? So I think that is something that you yourself should introspect on. Why is it that you would choose somebody? If somebody has taught you for a longer period of time, it makes an obvious choice. If somebody had, like, if you are applying to, let's say, an MIM program, and you're taking your academic LOR from, I don't know, your drama teacher, it still helps, but what would help more would be if you take some from like a economics teacher, or like a, I don't know, any other professor. So 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 making the right choice is about why is it that this person is well equipped to recommend me for this particular program. So that was for academic LORs. I did not get a lot of it was not a problem for me because I had spoken to a couple of professors before who had recommended me previously and were happy to write me a recommendation for the master's degree as well. Uh, but for professional, there are two things now. If you're working in a family business, uh, it's better to get a professional LOR from like a client or a supplier, and anybody you have had a direct interaction with outside of your office. It helps. Of course, you can like put other recommendations as well, but this would probably help you more. And for like your normal professional experience, anyone who's like an immediate supervisor uh, works. So any recommendation that you can get should be fine.
Awesome. Um, Okay, so I think we covered the main three things in your application. Of course, and if guys, whoever's watching, if you have any other questions, feel free to ask. Even when the live is over, hopefully Falguni can come back to this YouTube video
For
and
sure.
respond to the comments. So yeah, that's completely fine. Go ahead and comment your questions. But I did see one question that someone asked, which was about the interviews, which I guess we can talk about next. Once you finally start getting ding, 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 all of these schools sending invites, which again, how did that feel like? I feel like it's such a huge thing, right? To get such big schools accepting your application. What was the feeling like?
Oh, for sure. I think it was like because the work was so hectic for the 3 4 months that I worked, it was like non-stop. So finally, when the results were out, I was very calm. I was very composed, and I loved every bit of it. And the thing was that because these were following similar timelines, so I got results like on I'm getting a result on Monday and then Wednesday, and then there's like one on the next day. So it happened like that. Anyway, it was an amazing experience. Showed me that okay, this process at least I paid off. It paid off. So it was nice. But yeah, I mean, it can get tricky as well. The wait for the results is something that's awfully disturbing because you just want to get done with it by the end of it, like done with the entire process.
And now you have so many eggs in your basket. You're like, oh God, now which one should I choose?
That is the toughest choice because the problem is that all universities have like different deadlines for reserving your seat in the university, which would mean that if you were to save a sweet spot and wait for your dream university, you'll have to like spend a couple of money, give some money to reserve your seat, which is again for all universities non-refundable. That is the trick part. But one advice would be you could always ask for an early results from the university. Again, it's their discretion to give it or not give it, but no harm in asking.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's a good tip. A lot of people are scared to always go and email AdCom about anything, but there are
Hmm,
things that you can ask them, and they are more than willing to help. So don't
for
feel
sure.
scared, guys. But okay, coming back to the interviews. So again, I'm sure you had maybe less time to prepare for it, but anything that you thought at the back of your head that you should prepare for before you took each interview for each school?
Um, okay, so I think I understood that. So I spoke to a lot of friends of mine who were part of these universities, and so they became friends while the application process was happening. And they mentioned that they're going to ask you situational questions, they're going to ask you personal questions, but none of them mentioned that they're going to grill you per se, or they're going to like make you feel uncomfortable in the interview. And from my personal experience of having given so many interviews, I can say for sure it was not true. I mean, it was true. They do not grill you. They don't want to make you feel uncomfortable. They just want to know you better, and to see whether what you wrote is actually the person that you are. So that should be easy. And yeah, the interviews were very diverse in nature as well. Some of them lasted 6 minutes, some of them lasted for like an hour or so. So I would also mention that do not think that the duration of an interview determines how your application goes.
Mhm. Interesting. Someone did though say, is there anything specific that you'd suggest when preparing for the interview for HEC?
For HEC, okay, so HEC asked me a lot of situational questions. I think they just want to test your problem solving at present. And what I'd say, just keep presence of mind, that should help. There are no mathematical questions, they don't want to ask you anything out of the box. It's all about how you think. And so, for example, I got this question, what would you do if you were the world president? Even though there's nothing like world president, and the panel did acknowledge that. But what is it that you would do? So, knowing more about current affairs, what is happening around the world, would really help answering such a question. And if you were to go for any specific specialization, let's say you are mentioning in your essay that I want to go for marketing or consulting, knowing more about that industry should help.
Mm, gotcha. Okay. Again, guys, if you have any more questions regarding the interview process, feel free to ask. We also do have, I keep plugging in events, but we do have an interview prep event. Though it's for MBA, I feel like just joining those kind of interview prep sessions could help, because MBA, MIM, in the end of the day, they are business schools,
Yeah.
so they would ask sort of a similar style of questions. So yeah. Oh, someone asked, how does Falguni prepare for French? How could I learn French? Any
Oh.
suggestions? Falguni?
Okay, so I started learning French by my own. So I studied till like B2 level on my own. I used all the resources that were available on the net, possibly all of them. And for C1, I did go to Alliance Française. It's a French institute, and they help you conduct DELF exams, which are like accredited French exams taken by the French government, which give you like an actual evaluation of your level. So C1 would mean like you've already completed A1, A2, B1, B2, and then you have arrived at C1. It's an advanced course. There's an intermediate and there's a beginner. So you can take personal classes, you can study on your own, you can also go to Alliance Francaise for classes and give the exams. And it's all good.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, now coming to the part which I did mention right at the beginning, you did get scholarships. Could you mention like which schools, and if you don't mind, how you got those scholarships, or how much would be helpful?
Okay, so I don't think that um, what is it that I was saying? Okay, never mind. So I did get scholarships, but I don't think like a lot of universities asked for like a separate scholarship essay. It was embedded in the application. They would automatically consider you for any scholarship. So Singapore was very generous. They gave me a scholarship. All the schools gave me scholarship, and it was in one category or the other. I remember NTU for that matter. NTU gave me a scholarship under women in business category, and I'm sorry, I don't remember the amount. Uh, so for HEC, I did not land a scholarship in ESSEC or INSEAD. I did get one in HEC. I got a 10,000 euro scholarship for again women in business category, but to be this is under the excellence category itself. So excellence has like a lot of categories within it. You could be from any of the ASEAN countries. You could add on to the diversity of the school. You could do a lot of other things not mentioned. It's always suggested to go through the scholarship list and again maneuver your essays according to the scholarship categories as well, because if your university does not have a separate scholarship essay, it's good to use your existing essay and maneuver it in a manner that fits one of these categories. So it makes
Interesting.
the job of the adcom easier, and of course it increases your chances at scholarship.
I'm glad you got the scholarship at the school you finally decided to go to. So that's a
Yes.
win-win. Congrats. Awesome. Okay, so I think that covers majority of your entire application process. What do you think are your biggest takeaways from your success, and any advice that you'd give to MIM aspirants?
Phew, wow, I
It's a
did not
loaded.
have time to think about the takeaways. But I'd say that the process is quite overwhelming, but it's also very, very fun if you make it to be. The study abroad process tests you every second because it requires you to introspect a lot. It requires you to list down your achievements, your experiences, and that can be quite overwhelming at any point of time. So to be prepared is a good thing to go about, and to have a like study buddy who is also applying perhaps is always great. So connecting with the right people at the right time is my go-to takeaway. That is something that I did, and it helped me a lot. You could use any platform. You could use GMAT Club. You could use LinkedIn. You could use Unibuddy. Anything works as long as you find the right person. Second, I don't think you should be afraid about asking questions. That is something that we discussed a lot during this call. The AdCom is there to help you in case you have any problems with the application. Knowing the statement, make sure to take full advantage of whenever you don't feel like you're going towards the right path, whenever you need clarification or a simple connection. You can also connect with the admissions team on LinkedIn and ask them questions uh, that you wouldn't ask on an email as well. Some of them are really happy to answer, as it may. And lastly, I think again, I would say that do not be disheartened if you're not like able to apply for one of the rounds. Round four is also okay. Round three is also okay. As long as you are confident in your application and you think it fits the university right, you should go for it. But the bad part is when you don't, when you decide to skip the process altogether. I think it's worth a try.
And it's the fact that you gave your full attention to your entire application process, even though it was in short time. I think that helped a lot too. But of course, the fact, I think your entire story, your background, you knowing languages, these skills you learned, these are small things that you were doing on the side, but it added up to the point that even though it was round four, it
Yeah.
still helped a lot, and it made you get in. Again, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Amazing story. I hope a lot of people are inspired. But hey, guys, does not mean you should go and apply in round four.
Yeah, I wouldn't suggest that.
Yeah. Apply in round one, round two, round three, even round four is like the last stretch.
Yeah.
But uh, we were discussing this, outside of this call, like that you are also helping other students with their application. So could you talk a little bit about that?
Oh, thank you. So, yeah, I do help students who now want to get into MIM programs, specifically in Europe or Asia, because I got to know a lot about a lot from my application process, and I just want to help other students, as much as I can from whatever value that I can provide. So, essentially, whatever we have spoken about, starting from the essays to the LORs to anything that is possibly part of the study abroad process. I make sure to help students with that through LinkedIn. And if anybody wants to apply for this year or next year's intake, I'm happy to help. I'm happy to evaluate your profile. And yeah, let's connect.
Awesome. We're going to add Falguni's LinkedIn profile in the description once this live is saved. So, guys, go ahead and reach out to her. And yeah, I think I'm going to start picking up some of the questions that the students have asked. So, someone here asked, how do you negate making silly mistakes if you overcome such an issue? And why did you choose HEC? You already mentioned the HEC part, but regarding the negating silly mistakes. Any thoughts?
I'm confused. Like, what sort of silly mistakes? Is it about
This was
the
asked way in the beginning of the session. I think it could be
GMAT?
just GMAT, yeah.
Could be GMAT, yeah. So yeah, okay, making silly mistakes. That is something that I was really good at, by the way, when I started preparing for GMAT. I had to make sure that again, as you mentioned, negate it. But I think it's all practice. I know it sounds too preachy or too utopian, but really practicing for a month daily helped me to make sure that I don't like write a -15 instead of a +15. And yeah, I think it makes all the difference. So give time, and make sure that whatever time you have, you practice some of the questions that would traditionally make you feel uneasy. Make sure to practice those so that you don't get afraid of them during the exam.
Gotcha. What were you preparing for in the interviews, and what do you think you could have done differently for the interviews?
So I did not prepare as such for any interview. I made sure that I was very comfortable, although before the interview call, because I knew every interview is going to be about like testing my presence of mind, which is usually not good, especially during exams or any interview call. So I made sure to have like a chamomile tea before the call. But what I could have done differently for the interview is, uh, I think it would have been better if I had gone on Reddit or gone online to look for some questions that had been previously asked in these interviews, because people freely share that information on platforms like Reddit, and it really helps. Also, what would have helped is connecting with people on LinkedIn who have just given the interviews, and how you would know that is if they have mentioned already about their plans, or whether they're an aspiring XYZ university student. You could reach out to these students and ask what the questions were. That should help.
Awesome. Um, how has your experience been at the campus? That is, if you have visited the UGC campus yet.
Yeah, so I'm currently in the campus. I stay on campus accommodation.
Oh yeah,
And
I'm
yeah,
sorry. You started your. You must have started your.
yes, yes, it's been a month that I've been here, more than a month actually. So the experience has been great. It's very green here. I wish I could show it to everyone, but like there are like a lot of trees. It's the campus is awfully beautiful, and there are like a lot of vending machines, coffee machines that I love. Other than that, I think you meet like people on the go. You're just walking and you meet people and you start talking, and turns out they're doing the same thing as you, or they have the same plans as you. So it really is an enterprising environment, and yeah, it's amazing.
That's awesome. Um, so, what would be your suggestions regarding GMAT prep for someone who's targeting September 2026?
Oh, that is great that you have that time on you. I think you should make sure to have a study plan in place and start right now. There's nothing better than starting early. I would honestly suggest, because I was somebody who did not have uh, quite a lot of affiliation with math in general, because I did not do it in my undergrad. So I would say that you should have a buffer of at least two GMAT attempts, so as to make sure you submit your best score. And depending on like whether you have an year or so, you can divide, this is the time I'll give my first GMAT, this is the time I'll give my second GMAT. And
Mhm.
I think that strategy helps a lot of people.
I'll take the last one. Can you speak a little bit about your RC solving strategy?
Oh, phew. RCs, yeah, RCs were really tough. Like after data insights, I'd say RC was the one that was difficult for me. Um, it's been a lot of time that I've given GMAT now, I feel like. But yeah, so for the RCs, I think the main problem that I had was like lack of attention span, reading the entire text and then, remembering it for like 3 to 4 questions that come ahead. So I made sure to like make pointers like while reading. So anytime I read like a keyword or something that is going to help me possibly with the next answer, I would just mention that, because
Mhm.
I don't believe there's like an option to highlight in exams, right? I
Uh,
don't,
no, I'm not
yeah,
sure. I haven't gone too much with a focus one, but I don't
yeah,
think so.
I don't think there's an option. So you just write all the things that you've gathered in the essay, and you use it for the next 3, 4 questions that you're gonna get, because it will get time consuming if you don't make notes. So that is
Someone
one thing I
someone commented something in French. You can always read that later.
did. Because I'm not able to see it. Other than the questions, I think you are highlighting. I am not able to
Yes,
see it.
yes. But I think that covers it. So again, incredible story. Thank you so much, Falguni, for coming here and sharing it with us. And if anyone has any questions and they want some help, for their master's journey, feel free to reach out to Falguni. We're gonna add her LinkedIn link down below. And yeah, thanks once again, guys. Please ask your questions. Even though this is a live, we will make sure to answer some of them again
I'll
after
make
this
sure
end.
to answer some of them.
Because I won't be able to. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, Falguni. Take care.
Thank you
Bye
so
bye.
much, Selvi. Lovely to be here. Bye bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye.